They told me, son, you're special. You were born to do great things. You know what? They were right.
Clinical trial protector system, plasmid lot 255. Dr. Su Chong, client Ryan Industries. Very frustrating day. I can't seem to get the damn big daddies to imprint on the little brats. The protection bond is just not forming.
Papa Su Chong?
Get away. Maybe if I modify the genetic sequence... Shush! Sure! The sequence to allow for... Get away, you filthy little shit! What? What are you doing? Get back here.
Now you are having freedom. Su Chang's drugs should have no hold on you. Take the bathysphere to Point Prometheus. It is time for this matter to be settled.
I've turned away from your light.
What happened to me?
His light shining even down here in the murk.
What can I really do for these little ones? I am tainted by sin. But you, perhaps you unlock a future for them that I cannot even imagine. A little one heads your way with a gift. Please be careful.
Oh, I'm ready for dream time, Mr. Bubbles.
That's what the book said. Dress nice, smile. Leave me alone!
Ignore the lies of Pontus and his parasites. Rapture is on the rise.
Started playing the charity angle. Fontaine's home for the poor. Before I knew it, I was calling myself Atlas of leading an army. Ryan and his precious Rapture. You don't have to build a city to make people worship you. Just make the chumps believe they're worth the nickel. Laying all your chips on Mother Goose. It's not like you never been double-crossed before. You know what I'm saying? Off at the point, Prometheus. We'll discuss this like men. You, me, the submarine topside, and more at him than you can possibly imagine.
Then save up for time.
Iconic and haunting, the Big Daddy and Little Sisters of BioShock immediately captivated the public's imagination. Big Daddy encounters defined the BioShock experience, creating new mechanics and techniques that had not been seen before in gaming. So Big Daddy, Little Sister, such an iconic moment or series of moments in this game. I'm fascinated about how that got layered in, because we talked a lot about the setting and the tone. That is still, to me, a mechanic that I remember was very unique about, choosing to engage the Big Daddy and being a fight that is going to be very aggressive and different than a traditional boss fight. I know you had an idea, Ken, of sort of 3 different types of AIs interacting in the same world.
Yeah, we were sort of I was trying to think of AIs you hadn't seen before, and this is still pretty early. Like 10 years ago, a lot's changed in 10 years. So AIs were still pretty much enemies who saw you and came after you.
Zigzag, shoot.
Yep, and then that was really the focus, is how you make them, use AI better at you, So I started thinking about, are there more primal behaviors to think about? And I was watching a nature show one day, these typical nature shows, and it's observe the mother tiger taking care of her young, one of those kind of things. And I realized that we don't even need a narrator on those shows. We understand certain behaviors just by looking at them. They're very primal, like somebody protecting their young, the predator-prey behavior. Those things were you don't need dialogue for that. And AIs at that point, we didn't have the ability to do a lot of sort of, smart AI. Yeah. So I said, what if their behaviors are just very primal, and we can model those behaviors? So aggro rules is something we knew we could model, right? How does an AI aggro on you? What are the rules for that? Could they make a aggression display rather than just attack? And can another character appear afraid and hide behind the skirts of another character? And we started talking about these things. And the Big Daddy became very quickly, the actual form of the Big Daddy became very quickly as sort of this protector creature. The Little Sister took a lot longer, ironically, even though it's a much simpler notion in a lot of ways. The initial idea came out of sort of watching a nature show, and we're trying to work within our constraints of we couldn't make super complex AIs.
That's the Big Daddy. She got it out of him. He keeps her safe.
Because when we first got the system up and running, this is before the playtest, we weren't really thinking about player facing these things. And we had this entire system set up that completely simulated what would happen, and you'd play through the vertical slice and you walk into a room and everybody's dead, because the system would work perfectly. And you weren't there to see the fight. Yeah.
And we track they weren't called Little Sisters at the time, but we track how much they were harvesting, and it was all like a Command and Conquer level simulation.
Yeah.
And players didn't care or notice.
Yep.
And so we just abandoned all that stuff.
Yeah, so that took us a step towards, how do we present this to the player, then how do we make the gatherers, which we called them at the time before Little Sister design came on, how do we make them empathetic towards the player? How do we make the player want to engage with that? Because at the time they were just slugs.
Right.
So which is a horrible design.
Originally were slugs, right?
Yeah.
Not actually.
Which is a horrible design in so many ways, because you don't care about slugs, and they're also on the ground, so you don't see them. They're not at eye level, and they're dark. So.
But you still have something. We had the trailer had the same, or not the trailer, the demo. Our prototype we did, so had the Big Daddy sort of interacting with the little slug.
And slugs crawl around the Big Daddy? Or
no, it's this awful little mesh.
Right. Yeah.
It's like a little beetle, sort of.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
And they were protecting
and they had,
protecting the beetles.
The beetles? What?
And
the Big Daddies had 2 drills. They didn't have a hand, so there's no way they could
It's just fascinating because the Little Sister, it's there's such humanity in it, which you really connect with.
Which seems like
you would think that
the
obvious thing.
Yeah.
We're not very smart.
The idea of sort of choosing to engage the Big Daddy. I mean, when I was first time I played the game, that was always profound to me, because you sort of sit there and am I ready for this? And your choice to sort of the kind of opposite of stealth, when you want to be discovered. Was that always the mechanic with the Big Daddy?
Yeah, the idea was that they would have very particular rules about engaging with you that were entirely dependent on how the threat level towards, not them, towards their creature they were protecting.
Yeah, that was set, and then as you worked through it, I'm sure there were conversations about how difficult do we make these fights, and sort of the balancing of that, and even, with the game, you don't start off with a Big Daddy fight. It's a little ways into the game until you actually get to that. So that was debated?
You actually encounter the notion of Big Daddy and little sister many times before you actually are freed into an arena where you can actually fight them. You see them
sneaking out, pipes.
You see them. You see them walking down a hall. You see the first time you see a little sister, she's harvesting, and then you see the big daddy come and protect her. And we realized it was 4 or 5 sequences we had to do to set the stage for these characters. And look, we were hoping they'd be iconic and people would respond to the way they did, because we certainly spent energy on them with the expectation that they'd have an impact that we really just as easily could have turned out that nobody cared.
I think the actual very first time, and not a lot of people see it, there's a little sister in the vent in Kashmir restaurant that if you're looking in the right direction at the right time, you'll see her looking at you, and then she'll disappear into the vent.
Yeah. Just the eyes.
No, it's the actual mesh.
Is it the mesh?
Because it was easier to do that.
Right.
Than new eyes, but yeah.
No! 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 Thank you.
The path of the righteous is not always easy.
The thing as you play through the game, I think the moments with those sort of encounters certainly stand out to the player. For you guys, as you were developing it, was there a debate about how often to sort of have those encounters? Like how many big daddies would there be? How would that play out? I mean, was that something that sort of changed as you?
No, I think we decided there would be 3. I think it was 3 per level.
So 3 and 2 in smaller levels. We did have a third big daddy that was mostly finished, but we couldn't make it fun. Like that last 10% of an AI is always like, where's the fun? Like, how do you really make it fun?
I think they put it into BioShock 2, didn't they?
They might have, yeah.
They might have, I don't know.
But, it was fully rigged, fully animated, but we just didn't have the time we needed to really, really polish it, so we ended up shipping with the bouncer and Rosie.
Hunting the Big Daddy, that demo was a huge moment, I think, in the game's kind of marketing campaign. And that really, I think, sold the tension of that battle. When you showed that, did the entire game feel like that, or was that really more of just like a vertical slice of what you wanted the game to feel like?
That, at that point, was more what we wanted to feel like, because the Big Daddy had a lot of problems at that point. But we were confident we could do that. Like, we wanted to make sure that was an experience we could deliver on. And it was like it functioned, but it would do really weird things. Like, it had this tendency at the time to, if you did the wrong thing, that it would turn into basically a super ball and start like a tiny little super ball. The Big Daddy would turn to a super ball and start bouncing off the ceiling and walls like a million miles an hour. Do you remember why you did that, or what was going on?
I'm sure it was some physics bug that
And so that actually happened. Sometimes we were doing the demo, and Joe Falstick, who was the guy running the demo with me in Barcelona, was very good at making sure that he turned away from the Big Daddy. Like, oh yeah, I guess we killed the Big Daddy. He must be dying over there. But so all things were functional, but they weren't really. They didn't have all their bells and whistles on yet. It was really good for us because it sort of gave us some confidence that people would respond to just the notion of watching Little Sister and biding your time and choosing your moment.
Well, it gave us confidence, but it also gave us a tool that the development team as a whole could gather around and say, we want to make it like this. Like, yes, a lot of elements in that demo were scripted, but they provided a framework for us to go back and how do we make that so it's not scripted? How do we make this robust enough so that the player can actually use these systems?
Yep.
So it was something that we could point to and say, all right, how are we going to do this? Like, let's break it down and let's figure it out.
And that was like in September, and actually the game was done in February, March, so we weren't that far off.
Yeah.
A lot went into it in those final months. But it was a big confidence boost for us because we thought it was the most important thing about the game, besides the world, was this sort of Big Daddy, Little Sister concept. And if people didn't care about it, it would have been a problem for us because we spent a lot of time on it.
Against Ryan. He sighed and said, I am not a liberator. Liberators do not exist. These people will liberate themselves. I thought Andrew Ryan was a great man. I was a fool.
I've turned away from your life.
I'm on!
Your rivers turn to blood! You're wrong! I have sent you plagues! Nobody's These lights shine at even down here.
Rapture's gone to hell.
these things. I'm sorry, from your life. Turned away from your light. I am so...
Ryan wanted Frank Fontaine dead. I just gave him what he wanted. As Atlas, I got a new face, a clean record, and a fresh start. Now, it's time to take back Rapture.
I'll be so pleased.
Oh, Mrs. McClintock! What are you doing here? Let me just turn this off.
We went on a raid outside the wire today. We snagged 31 rounds of buckshot, 4 frag grenades, a shotgun, and 34 atom. We lost McGee, Epstein, and Vallette. We got one of those goddamn big daddies in the bargain, though. It was something awful they had to do to that little girl to get the atom, but we didn't start this thing. Ryan did. I can't wait to tell Atlas. He'll be so pleased.
Observe all his commandments. All his commandments. I observe all his commandments. His commandments.
Something nasty.
Huh.